Have you ever been stuck on hold for what feels like an eternity, listening to that awful music just to get transferred to someone who can't help you? We've all been there. Well, today, we're talking about the tech that's finally making that experience a relic of the past. We're talking about AI agents. And trust me, this isn't just a small tweak. It's a total revolution in how companies talk to you and me.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the big problem that AI agents were born to solve. Then we'll meet the solution itself, look at the absolutely mind-blowing economics, walk through a playbook so you know how to get started, and wrap up with the super important guardrails you need to have in place.
So first, let's talk about the problem. It's a pressure cooker situation that a lot of businesses are in right now, whether they fully realize it or not. Look, customer expectations have just gone through the roof. We all want answers now, right? 24/7, instantly. But the old way of doing things, phone lines, waiting for emails, it's just not built for this new reality. It's cracking under the strain. It's really a perfect storm when you think about it. You've got rising costs for everything, from salaries to software. You've got customers who demand instant service at 3 a.m. And on top of that, your best people are getting swamped with the same simple questions over and over again. It's a recipe for burnout, and honestly, the whole model is just becoming unsustainable.
So, if the old way is broken, what's the fix? Well, it's a technology you've definitely heard of, but I guarantee it's way more powerful than you think. Let's meet the modern AI agent.
Okay, first, let's clear something up. When I say AI agent, I am not talking about those old clunky chatbots we all hate. You know the ones. They just follow a script and can only answer the most basic FAQs. No, we're talking about a massive leap forward. These new AI agents understand context. They can perform complex, multi-step actions. They don't just tell you the return policy, they can actually process the return for you right there in the conversation. They learn, they adapt, and they solve problems. It's a whole different ballgame.
So how does this magic actually happen? It's through something called an AI agent builder. And here's the coolest part. These are often no-code platforms. That means you don't need to be a programmer to use them. Your actual customer support experts, the people who know your customers inside and out, can build and train these incredibly smart agents themselves. That is a game changer.
All right, so the tech is amazing. We get it. But what does this mean for the bottom line? This is where the story goes from interesting to absolutely unbelievable. Let's ask the million-dollar question, or in this case, the multi-million-dollar question. What really happens to your costs when you put an AI agent and a traditional human agent side by side? Forget the hype for a second. Let's just look at the raw numbers.
And wow, the numbers on this slide are just staggering. A simple chat with a human agent can cost you, say, $5. With an AI agent, we're talking cents, maybe 50 cents on a bad day. For the routine stuff, you could be spending 10, 15, even 20 times more for a human to do the exact same thing. It's an absolutely massive difference.
So what does all that math boil down to? It's this number right here. For the interactions your AI can handle, you're looking at a potential cost reduction of up to 90%. That's not just saving a little money. That's fundamentally rewriting your company's financial model.
And here's the real kicker. The payback on this isn't some far-off dream. Most companies see a full return on their investment in just 4 to 6 months. Think about that. The money saved is then freed up to be reinvested in things that really grow the business, like product innovation or taking better care of your employees.
Okay, so at this point, you're probably convinced on the why. The numbers are just too good to ignore. The next logical question is, okay, how do we actually do this? Let's break it down into a simple playbook.
It's really not as complicated as it sounds. You can boil it down to 3 main steps. First, you've got to feed the AI's brain. Second, you connect that brain to your other systems so it can actually do things. And third, you have to set the rules of the road, especially for when it needs to pass the conversation to a real person.
Step 1 is the absolute foundation, building the knowledge base. This is the AI's brain. It's a single source of truth. And sure, it learns from your website's FAQ page, but the real secret sauce is feeding it thousands of your past support tickets. That's how it learns the nuance and the tricky questions that your real customers actually ask. Okay, once the brain has all that knowledge, it's time to give it arms and legs. You do that by connecting it to your core business systems. You plug it into your CRM, your help desk, your Shopify store. This is what allows the AI to go from just answering questions to actually solving problems for your customers in real time.
Now, this technology is incredibly powerful, but just flipping a switch without thinking it through is a huge mistake. You have to be thoughtful and responsible about it, because customer trust is everything.
And let's be really honest about the risks here. These AI models can sometimes just make stuff up. They call it hallucination. You've got to worry about data privacy. And maybe most importantly, you have to build an AI that knows its limits, that knows when a customer is truly upset and needs the empathy that only a human can provide.
So how do you handle those risks? You don't just cross your fingers and hope for the best. You build a serious structured governance model. As you can see here, this has to be a company-wide commitment, from the very top of the organization all the way down. Making AI responsible has to be everyone's job.
And that brings us to maybe the most important point of all. This is not about replacing humans. It's about creating a partnership. The AI handles the repetitive, easy stuff, which frees up your amazing human agents to focus on the complex, high-emotion situations where they can build real, lasting relationships with customers.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, the technology is here, the economics are undeniable, and the tools are easier to use than ever. It all leads to one final thought. The question for business leaders is no longer if you should do this. The only real question is, how fast can you get started?